So Deshaun Watson was asked,
Yeah.
not by his mom. He was just asked, do you still feel rusty like you said you felt at the end of last season? The question specifically was, do you still feel rusty? This was his answer.
I'm not sure. We would have to see and wait till week 1 for me to be able to answer that. To be honest with you, because it's easy to say, yeah, the rust is gone during OTAs and throwing the football around just helmets. But once we get on the playing field, then I have to go out there and prove that the rust is not there. So I can't speak on if I'm rusty or not right now. All I can do is just keep working and get better 1%.
Shout out to the lawnmower.
Yeah.
But
cut out the last few seconds of that clip.
I don't love the answer. I don't hate the answer. I mean, it's one of those things that it would be easy for him to say the rust is gone. Like, he thought the rust was gone, and all the players thought the rust was gone because when they saw him in practice after his suspension, it was like, oh, just wait till he gets out there because he looked good in practice. But you really don't know until you get into the game to know if it's gone or not. So I get where he's coming from. But he got to have some type of swag and some type of confidence in himself. I would have told him, listen, it's bombs over Baghdad. We throwing the thing all over the field. The rust, it was never no rust anyway. I got some DW-40 and we ready to roll. We airing this thing out this season. That's what I would have said, but that's just me. I respect the humble approach.
Man, I think, I was talking to Bernie, this was about a week ago, and Bernie was talking about how, he was saying how, like, when you're a quarterback, even though he had Bill Belichick, right, he had been entrenched in the city so much that, like, he knew that the fans was rocking with him. He knew, like, win, lose, or draw, they was like, he was that dude. So he would do some stuff like, I'm going to change these plays, whether you like it or not, right? Just how we going to be moving. Like, and he was able to do that. Right now, Deshaun Watson, whether people believe it or not, he still has not rehabilitated his I think his emotional approach to the game, right? Sometimes when you told, you're bad, you've done this, you don't really get back in and look at yourself and look in the mirror and say, oh, I'm still that guy. And you won't be able to do that until you do it in the game. He could look great in preseason, but like he said, that confidence is built through reps and success against good opponents and good teams and being able to do it when it actually counts. And another thing I think a lot of people don't take in consideration is Cleveland, for a quarterback, is a very tough place to play. We might not be the Jets or New York market or Chicago market or LA as far as the size, but when it comes to fan bases, we are very judgmental. Like Baker, like, come on, when we got here and Baker was the quarterback, we was on TV every game. Every time Baker played terrible, we was on the ESPN or Fox and Skip and Shannon or Stephen A. Everybody was commenting on that. And if you don't really believe that, just watch this year. Deshaun Watson will lead pretty much every discussion. The Browns will be in every conversation, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. And I think Deshaun is trying to process that because in Houston, it's Houston. At the end of the day, if you do bad in Houston, it's the Texans. Bro, we still trying to get this championship, and cats is crazy here. People paying $90 to go to the Muni lot. 90, they can raise it to 100, boo. Hey, the pressure's on.
Still be packed. When the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson, obviously I was on the air on the radio at the time, and I went bananas. Bananas in a good way. I was going crazy. I was like, the Browns finally have a franchise quarterback for the first time in forever. And one thing I did not think about at all at the time was his confidence, his cockiness, his swagger, his mojo, whatever the hell you want to call it. Some of those intangibles that you don't know. Nobody knows. Even his best friend, whoever that may be, doesn't know what makes Deshaun Watson tick down deep, what makes his confidence, builds up his confidence, whatever. And I think, he was obviously rusty last year, but I think part of the reason he played poorly, and again, I don't know this for a fact, it's just we're just trying to figure it out. I think part of the reason he played poorly is he was lacking confidence, and he was in his head a lot.
He had a lot going on.
Yeah, which I get. Sometimes we forget that players, you don't because you were one, and you were too. Players are human beings just like the rest of us. They got problems with their families. They got sickness in their families. They got relationships that break up, especially when you're talking about players who are in their 20s, most of them, right? It's young guys just learned how to become men, and they're doing it in the public eye in front of a ton of people. And Deshaun Watson, now he brought it on himself with what happened, but he was dealing with more than most last year. And it was clear to me that he was lacking some confidence and lacking that swagger that he had in Houston. And ultimately, my biggest concern about Deshaun Watson is not the physical talent. He is immensely talented. He's in great shape. I know he's had some injuries in the past. I think he's over that. I don't think it's an issue. It's can he get the confidence back and can he get out of his own head? Because the best quarterbacks in the league are not overthinking anything, and they think they're the biggest swinging you-know-what in town. Mm-hmm. And if Deshaun Watson gets that back, then I expect him to be great this year. And if he doesn't, we may never see him be great again. It sounds crazy to think that it's all about his head.
No,
but I think that's a big part of it.
And it's up to Stefanski to get him there. I mean, right now, all he going off of his last 6 games, and they weren't great at all.
Yeah.
But what they need to point out is, bro, you had some throws in this game. You made some plays in these 6 games. You had some moments. So it's still there. We just need to get you to be more consistent. And once that happens, once he gets some success, which that's why the preseason is going to be big for him.
Yeah.
If he gets some success in the preseason, he should be able to hit the ground running. But he is contradicting himself a little bit, and it's funny because he's the same guy who put on TikTok, like, when the Browns in 2023 or something like that, it was like, I can't wait for y'all to see it. And now he had taken a humble approach. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny that he doing that.
And by the way, he's kind of smiling when he says it. You know, I got to wait a little bit to the regular season. We'll figure out, how he is in the regular season. Now, I will say this. This is why it's so important that you take heed. If you're the general manager and you hear your quarterback say that, my thing is, he don't seem like he's too comfortable right now. What can I do to get this thing all the way served and ready to go? We just talked about a guy, DeAndre Hopkins. What you want to do is, and this is not an indictment on the young guys, right? And a lot of people get this mistake. Like, it is not your job to bring young guys along and make them productive immediately. That's not what the job is. Your job is to get the best guys on the field and win now. Not tomorrow they might be good, next year they might be good. And you got to think of it in terms like this. If your quarterback is saying those things and he's not over the top comfortable with exactly what's going on, think about what you could do to ease that angst. If you look out there and you got 3 wide receivers, and they Elijah Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, and Amari Cooper, David Njoku is your tight end, and behind you is Nick Chubb. That level, in a pretty good offensive line, that level of comfort goes up this much because I got a guy that I know has made plays for me. I got a guy that I don't even know what route he running. He going to get open one-on-one. I got a guy, Elijah Moore, that I can dump it quick, move around, and Njoku, I got him over the middle. And if all else fails, if I don't even like the call, I can either take the ball and run it myself or turn around and audible and give it to Nick Chubb. Now, you gotta be super comfortable in that environment because now when you look around, one of the best things that I've always liked, I was talking to Mike Doss the other day. The best thing I love about playing with other players who you feel is like either good or better than you is the fact that they're going to handle theirs.
Yes.
Like you play safety, right? When you got corners out wide and they doing anything,
I ain't got to worry about him.
You self-checked over there. You locked up.
It's any sport, right? Like if you play with a guy who's really confident, believes in himself, it makes you feel better.
Right.
It makes feel like, he's confident. I should be confident too.
Yeah.
It gives you, like, if you're playing with a bunch of guys who are like, well, we suck, and then you're going to start to feel that way.
Or they're trying to feel their way out. Cedric Tillman trying to figure out his confidence. Right. DPJ is trying to figure out where am I in this league.
Yeah.
These other guys know who they are in the league.
And I think you're right. Like, we're so used to the Browns being so lacking of talent until recent years, where you had to start rookies because you had nobody to play.
Yep.
But you look at some of the better teams, and they let their rookies develop because you have a guy, like, I'll give you an example. I hate to bring the Bengals up as an example because people always get mad at me, but I'll do it anyway. I'm not saying the Bengals are perfect. The Chiefs are better, but an example just popped in my head. So last year, the Bengals had 2 good veteran safeties, right? Mm-hmm. They had Jesse Bates, and why did I forget the Bengals' other safety? What's his name?
Von Bell.
Vaughn?
I forgot about Von Bell for a second.
How dare you?
That's a bad job out of me.
How dare you?
So the Bengals drafted in the first round Dax Hill, a safety. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't know yet if he's going to be good. Fine, we don't know because he hasn't played that much. But they drafted him in the first round, but he didn't play much. He played a little last year. And so he got his feet wet a little bit. He learned under a couple of veterans. And then this year they're able to say, okay, now they may turn out to be wrong. They're okay, he got his feet wet. Now this year we're ready to turn it over.
We like
to
the
him.
progression.
But we don't have to play him the first year because we got it covered. A draft pick's not a failure if a guy doesn't play the first year. A draft pick's a failure if when he gets his chance, he's never any good. So we don't need Cedric. Cedric Tillman, even if they don't add Hopkins, I don't think it's going to be a huge part of the offense.
He's a big red zone guy.
Potentially.
Okay.
He
will be.
If he gives me 2 or 3 touchdowns in the red zone, I'm head over heels excited.
if he has 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, that'd be unbelievable.
Oh, that's a great season for him.
Right? But if they get Hopkins, then he's even below that. So, and that's fine. And that doesn't mean you don't think he's good. Yeah. It just means I think this year DeAndre Hopkins is better.
I think they undervaluing what all comes with D-Hop. What also comes with him is that he's teaching and helping your younger guys learn something. Yeah. Like Tillman is not going to be Amari Cooper on routes. That's not who his body is made up. But he can be like D-Hop. So why not let him learn from? Because it's not like y'all keeping D-Hop for multiple years. It's like a 1 or 2 year deal, and then you got to move on to the next guy. So let him at least groom up the next guy who can be like him, who he might even see himself in, and they might create something. He might be be a better player because of it.
And both Cooper and Hopkins are going to be here 1 or 2 more years max.
Yes.
Right. DPJ may be gone, so. Maybe Cedric Tillman's their number 2 receiver in 2025.
Him and Elijah Moore. That's who they probably banking.
Right. Elijah Moore maybe your 1, and maybe Cedric Tillman's your 2. Who knows? Time will tell. David Bell. Anthony Schwartz will be a great water boy. I mean, he's going to be fantastic. What's up, Mikey?
So we asked the internet, a.k.a. the YouTube chat today, what they thought of Deshaun Watson's comments, whether they liked how he answered the Russ question or not. And this poll result, as always, is brought to us by our dear friends over at PCC Airfoils. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, well, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils at Eastlake Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, get a full benefit package, paid time off, and a signing bonus when you apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. Over 177 votes, or actually not over, exactly 177 votes in this 11-minute poll. 88% said they liked Deshaun Watson's measured approach to answering the question.
Oh, wow. Who could have seen that
12% said they did not like it. So
everybody loved Juan Thornhill being cocky as hell.
Right.
But now we love Deshaun Watson being humble.
Well, you know, the quarterback is a whole nother different, that's a whole other different thing. Like, everybody is scared. Like, to me, I'm still at the point where every time they ask him a question, I'm just waiting for the question about the allegations.
Right.
Which is kind of crazy to me because I know if I'm thinking that, I think Deshaun probably still thinking that in the back of his mind.
Yeah.
So, Deshaun, could you give us an update? I know you do have those 2 pending allegations. Is that gonna take you away from OTAs and have at least I'm glad that part of it is over.
By the way, no matter what Deshaun Watson had said, 88% of the fans would have said they liked it.
Yes.
No matter how he would answer that question. And I don't even care that he answered that question that way. I just think it didn't help my thoughts that maybe he's lacking some confidence. That may not be true, but it certainly didn't make me feel.
I mean, it could be one of those things that he could have an on the field and an off the field personality.
Sure.
And you don't have to marry the 2 together. You could be cocky on the field but be the nicest guy off the field. So maybe that's the. But I hope that's the approach.
I don't think being cocky makes you a bad guy.
Not at all.
I mean, I want my quarterback to be cocky. Now, it doesn't. I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter. And he's right ultimately that the preseason OTAs don't mean shit.
No.
He's got to play well when the games matter or nothing else matters. And it's just huge. He's got to get off to a good start this year. specifically has to get off to a big start.
I mean, that's the understatement of the year.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that here's the thing: he understands where he at in the climate. If he would have said, oh, "Man, that Russ been gone. Wait till I come out here and smoke these dudes the first," like. Now them people that's waiting in the wings, because by the way, they're still here. Like, let's not act like all the Baker Mayfield people they ain't undercover. Yeah. They hiding in plain sight. They just not gonna say nothing.
They're locked into that competition with Kyle Trask.
Yeah, and as soon as he throw a touchdown, we gave up too early. There's a lot of people that still ain't got over the Baker thing. So playing it coy is cool.